Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is a video motion graphics artist, and she's here to speak about her handcrafted art pieces to promote her eco-friendly jewelry. It's beautiful. She has the accessory company there. Let's call it Eco Bloom. Please welcome to the show, Melisa Ramos. How are you? Good morning. How are you? Good afternoon. Good evening.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you for having me.
So you've been on the show before. You're no stranger to the show, and you've been doing a lot of things. Now, I think some of the other things that you do before we get into your current business, tell us about it. Give us a little background on you.
Well, I would say I started in the arts since I was a kid. I started sewing when I was like 10, and always had like micromotor skills.
Yeah.
So I always liked working with tiny things. And even if I didn't have a toy, I would find something to play with, because it would be tiny, tiny things.
And you would make your own, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Like my dad would punish me and then he would find me playing with a piece of paper. Like, what am I gonna do with this girl? And from from sewing and making dresses, I went into jewelry. And when I was in college, I sold at markets. I was certified as an artisan in Puerto Rico. And I started working with seeds, with wood, like a lot of work that's really highly crafted. And I found this type of art I I saw, and I saw it's done in Africa, in Uganda. They have a company. I seen it in Mexico.
Yeah.
When I moved to the US, is that I see how much paper they throw away everywhere. Everywhere. I was like,
so wait a minute, I can do something with that.
I could do something because it's so much, the ways to sew, so much. And mostly this art is done with magazine paper. But how can I find so much magazines? So when I come to New York, I see so many flyers everywhere, like in a gallery, in a restaurant, like so many. And the patterns are so pretty because flyers are made to promote something, an event. So they're very colorful and they are glossy. And that's what gives an advantage to my product because they are already plastified. So I don't need to coat this with anything else.
Look at that.
To put more glue or any plastic, right? Because that is more contamination.
Yeah. So you mentioned something about Africa and Puerto Rico. If you go to Piñones, you see a lot of things like that, in different stands. What part of Puerto Rico are you from, or did you start from?
I'm from Toa Baja.
All right.
It's you can see it at the other side of the bay of San Juan.
Yeah.
The beach town.
That's over in Lajos and Boquerón and all of that, way over there?
No. That's the southwest. I'm in the north.
Okay. All right. So you came up with this idea, and now you're doing it, and it's doing well. So you have some of them in back of you. Explain them.
Yes. So, for instance, this is a bracelet.
Yeah.
And it is, right, the technique is rolling the paper like a cylinder.
Yeah. Wow.
And it turns like really, really hard, right? And the paper is already glossy. So it's, it resists perspiration, like sweat, don't throw it in water, please, because it's still jewelry. I always tell people, when you buy a jewel, you treat it like a jewel, right? You just don't toss it. And it's handmade. So, and I do everything. I assemble it and I do the finishings as well. So for instance, this one that's like yellow, green, and orange, I remember this flyer. This was what is that, the Irish stuff?
It was an Irish flyer?
Yes, it's a beer actually.
Oh, okay.
It has
Yeah.
yellow, it has gray, and it has the
Uh-huh.
green.
Yes.
So I remember this, and the great thing when I pick flyers, sometimes people may say, why is she picking so many? But all my pieces are unique or they are limited edition.
Yeah. So Melissa, if I come and put a bunch of flyers on a counter in like a food shop or a place, half of them would be gone if you walked in there, right?
Yeah, I'll grab like 20. And
You're taking my flyers.
yeah,
That's good
I
though.
mean,
That's how you came up with the name, because a lot of people throw those flyers out too because the data's gone, it passed, and you still see a bunch of flyers on the table there. So that's how you got the name, Eco Boom?
Eco Bloom,
Bloom.
blooming like a flower, right?
Yes.
And for
But your
me,
business is booming.
yes. So for me, it's like, what we take from nature, we're giving back to nature because we're not reusing again nature. We're upcycling. So now with quarantine, I can't go outside or I'm not going to see that many flyers, honestly.
Yeah.
Besides the takeout food.
Yeah. So people have to send you stuff now. Did you get the magazines and everything?
I'm using coffee wrappers.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, coffee because they are shiny. There's a different.
It has a coating on it already. Yeah.
They're metallic, because it's a metal paper, and they're so shiny. They're lovely. When I make these, I also use the silver side.
Oh, look at that.
People love them. They buy them right away. I'm using chocolate candy wrappers.
Look at that.
A lot of chocolate.
Talking about being creative. Look at you.
Yeah, so now I'm going through all the paper that's in like my food.
Yeah.
And reusing it again, like coffee, and exploring this other type of texture.
Is there a way you can put that out there where if anybody's throwing away items like this, to save them, recycle them, send them to maybe a place where you can get them?
Wow.
Not yet.
That would be great. But what I usually do is that at my jobs, because at the job, everywhere there's paper.
Yes.
So at my jobs, I always ask, like, can you give me the leftover, like the oldest catalogs of the school? Mm-hmm. Those have great art. So I used to teach at an art institute, and the graphic design department gave me like 3,000. She's like, oh, this is old. Yeah. So I have so many. I have friend artists who work at print shops.
Oh, okay.
So I get from print shops.
So you're straight. You're good. You have your supply. You know where to go.
I know where to go. Yeah.
And where can we go to learn more about what you're doing?
You can go on Instagram at eco-bloom, or you can go at ecobloomfashion.com.
Thank you so much. We love the work that you're doing, and perhaps we'll come over and buy a couple of pieces from you.
Sure, thank you.
And that's on that website that you just mentioned, right?
Yes.
All right. Melisa Ramos, she's doing her thing. She's a professional video editor, motion graphics artist, and instructor with a broad experience in video and TV post-production. Thank you for all that you're doing. Very creative. We love you.
Thank you.
All right. We have somebody that's creative in the world of sports. Bobby C. coming up next on Open.